Peace, peace. It's your boy Nightlife 79. Hey, look, man, I'm back with a very, very special one, man. I have a good childhood friend of mine. I'm going to allow her to introduce herself and talk about her most recent endeavors. And first of all, let me say to you that I'm extremely honored that you would give me the time to
Of
get
course.
this interview. I've watched her journey and couldn't wait to catch up with you. So let's kick it off. So please explain to everybody who you are and what do you do?
All right, so my name is Xylina Cassandra Knuckles. Most of you probably know me by Lena, or Ricky's little sister, right? So, but my name is Xylina. It starts with an X. That's on my birth certificate. And I want to say that simply because I do realize a lot of people from home don't know that my name is Xylina, Xylina. So, I am the creator and founder of Boss Frog, which is a puppet, and we do animations and we create books for kids and different products to educate them on health and wellness.
That's man, that's wonderful. And let's get into that a little bit. Of all the things, first of all, what I know about you, you've
Okay.
always been a creative.
Yeah.
You've always been into the arts.
Yeah.
So for me to see your creative expression is not necessarily a surprise. What the surprise is that creative expression turning into this.
Gotcha.
So what sparked you, or what was that journey like that led you down this path to write your books and to create a character for them?
Okay, so I created the character first. His name is Boss Frog. So, boss, we teach kids, I teach kids how to boss up from entrepreneurship, spiritually, mentally, physically. But I created him, and boss means building others while serving and solving problems. Because,
Mm.
in my opinion, KK, I don't think you can be a boss if you're not serving other people and if you're not solving problems,
Say that
right?
acronym one more time. That's
Yeah.
beautiful.
So boss means building others while serving and solving problems.
Mm.
And you just gotta. I respect bosses that serve and solve problems, right? And frog, the word frog means forever relying on God.
Oh
So
man,
I named my character Boss Frog.
y'all
He's
see
over
him?
there.
That's Mr. Boss Frog over there, man.
So, Boss Frog, originally, we were still educating and things like that. But then I started realizing that my grandmother, she was diagnosed with dementia. I went and got certified. I'm a dementia practitioner and a CNA also. And I started doing some research. I started volunteering my time into some adult daycares and that dealt with Alzheimer's, and just kind of fell in love with the space. I brought Boss Frog in for some cognitive stimulation that helps the brain stimulate memories and things like that. And he was just a hit.
Mm.
The not only the seniors loved him, but the kids loved him. And then I started creating different products like my books to be able to explain to my nieces and nephews what was going on with my grandmother. So this first book is dedicated to my grandmother, Christine Rucker. Um, who passed away in 2024. And it was just my way of explaining or opening up the conversation of dementia with families and kids.
Oh man, that's perfect. Explain the difference for those who do not understand, much like I was,
Okay.
dealing with it with my own mother. But explain the difference between Alzheimer's itself and dementia.
So you have to, I always say, look at it like this. So dementia is a tree, it's the tree trunk. And Alzheimer's is just a branch off of that tree because there are over 100 different forms of dementia. Alzheimer's is just one. So you have Alzheimer's, you got Lewy bodies, you got frontotemporal, you've got mixed dementia, you've got so many, and there's so many more that haven't even come out yet because they discover so many different types. So dementia is just a form of something cognitive that's beginning to happen, whether they lose their memory, where or they forget to how to use their limbs, their legs, their motor skills. Each one represents something completely different, but Alzheimer's is based on the memory.
And I love that analogy you gave. Dementia being a tree,
Yeah.
Alzheimer's being a branch. To me, I visualized that as soon as you said it.
Yeah.
That totally gave me an understanding. So even like dealing with my own mother, little things like that help me get an understanding of where she is. Speaking of that, what are some challenges that you faced? First of all, with launching your book itself, and even dealing with people who are suffering from the disease of Alzheimer's. Talk about some of those challenges.
I feel like challenging was in the beginning. It was because there's nothing really like what I'm doing for kids. And as I've been able to travel a lot and get the word out for dementia awareness, most people are not thinking about the kids. My ministry, my performing arts company for kids that I had over 20 years straight out of college was for children. So I've always been about educating the youth because I felt like as a child, had I known more things earlier that adults think that kids don't understand,
Mm,
I think I would have been a little bit further,
hmm.
right? And so it was my mission to be able to educate them on things that you think that they're not going to understand. So I think it's a gift that God has given me to be able to break down certain topics in a way that kids can understand if you give them a chance to. So it was challenging in the beginning because with the puppet and the books with Alzheimer's, they're like, kids, how are they going to understand Alzheimer's? Well, it depends on how you explain it to them. So, but I have found success, right?
Hmm.
We have a whole, we go into schools, we go into all these different places, and it's just been incredible the feedback that we get from kids understanding exactly what Alzheimer's and dementia is
Oh
now.
man, that's great. And I love the analogy that you used earlier. So we had a conversation kind of off camera, where Xylina gave me an analogy of a file cabinet.
Yeah,
We were talking about, my own mother, her struggle, and the things that I've seen, and how she remembers things from back in the day,
yeah.
but she doesn't quite understand things that are current. Please break that file cabinet down for me again.
Yeah, so when you're dealing with different forms of dementia, specifically Alzheimer's, I explained it to Carrot,
That's fine.
to KK, as a file cabinet. So when you're dealing with someone in your family that might have it, think of it as a file cabinet. So as you pull that file cabinet out, you've got all these different files. Now, what's closest to you in those folders, they're not going to remember, but they will remember 20 years back. They
Mm,
will remember what happened when they were a kid. They will remember what happened when you were a kid, just as like with no spaces. So you will start to think, ain't nothing wrong with my mama, ain't nothing wrong with my grandma. She remembers this, but she might not remember what she just ate yesterday, or she might not remember the medications that she's taking, or she might not remember your name, right? And so we have to remember that the mind, as dementia is taking over the mind, it's poking holes in different structures of the mind, and it's actually starting to shrink. So they kind of go back into childhood, and the best way we can kind of stay present with them is to go to the back of the file cabinet, talk about those things from back in the day,
mm.
right? But don't be fooled by those things. Just because they can recall those things doesn't mean that they're not sick.
Absolutely. And when you say that childhood again,
Yeah,
I think back to the great books of wisdom, man. Once a man, twice a child. So you're
absolutely.
literally reverting back to your childhood.
Yeah.
And, hey, man, our conversation has been powerful today. I'm just pulling some takeaways out. Earlier, she reminded me that what I'm experiencing with my own mother is the fact that I'm now seeing that little girl manifest at this elderly age that she is. For me, it was very challenging watching that change and trying to explain that to my son. So I really, really appreciate it. Talk about how you feel or how people receive Mr. Boss Frog
Ah.
when you go to these places and how they light up.
Oh man, it's incredible. So we had him out a little bit earlier. People actually truly light up. It's like going back to Sesame Street when you get to see this character. You're not necessarily talking to a person. You're talking to this character, and the seniors cognitively in their minds, it takes them back. So they get to have these conversations with this puppet that they might not necessarily have with you. And then the kids are, of course, they just light up and they
Mhm.
get to have this interaction. And it's the coolest thing. It's like $1 million to me to see it
Yeah.
happen, and it's the coolest thing
And it's
for sure.
beautiful the fact that you're able to correlate even with a children's book
Yeah.
and bridge the gap with a puppet that kind of ties everything together, whether you're an elderly person with Alzheimer's
Mhm.
or a child. To watch that understanding come to an apex and everybody gets it, like that's amazing to me.
Thank you. My programs are intergenerational, which means we combine seniors and children together. Why? Because as you grow up in a family, grandparents love their grandkids. There's not much they're not going to do for their grandkids. And for me, my grandma, I had this kind of relationship with her that, my mom, I could tell on my mom to my grandma, right? And so my programs, they're made for grandparents and their grandchildren, to bring back those relationships and have things that they can do together. So I don't only just offer the books, we have a workbook, that you can do at home with someone that may have dementia, that you can work. And my grandmother used to love crossword puzzles and all of these cool things. So I incorporated coloring. All of those things are incorporated in these workbooks that not only the seniors can do, but the kids can do, and they can do it together to bring that intergenerational relationship back. So it's specifically designed for families, for kids and their grandparents.
Man, this is beautiful. I definitely don't want to take up a lot of your time, but in closing with this, give some advice to the youth
Yeah.
that basically correlates with exactly what your mission is currently. But give some advice to the youth who may be living with those grandparents and they're watching those changes occur and they don't understand exactly what's happening. This is prior to you introducing this book to provide that understanding.
So just keep in mind that someone that is dealing with something like this Alzheimer's or dementia is an actual disease. It's not something that they can help, right? So when they're saying that they don't remember this, or they seem kind of flustered, their personality could change, they become something different. They're not doing that on purpose. They're not forgetting on purpose. They are really struggling trying to remember. Sometimes they'll repeat things over and over. They might forget your name. And so I always encourage you to try your best not to take those things personally, but to ask yourself, how can I show a little bit more grace to what's happening in this transition, right? And so I feel like the more that we can educate ourselves, the more that we can just join them right where they are. You know what I mean? If grandma thinks that, this is happening, let's join and think that this is happening. Kind of some improv, and get in there with her and make sure that she feels protected and loved, because that's all we all want. And not to go back and forth, because that kind of triggers the opposite reaction, right? So I just say, make sure you can stay bossed up, which means take responsibility for yourself, because you have to heal yourself and then you can help other people, right? So as long as you're learning that one day you might get old and one day you're going to need someone, not that you might have Alzheimer's, because that's another thing I want to say, KK.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you are aging does not mean you're going to get dementia.
Mm.
Okay, everyone, just because you're getting old, you might start forgetting stuff, but that doesn't mean you have dementia. That does not mean you're going to have Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's comes from different neurological things that are happening in the brain, right? So that's not the case for everybody. So we just need to clear that up too. But just don't forget that we all age, we all get older, we all need things, and we all want to always come together as a family to educate ourselves, so that we can treat each other the best way we possibly know how.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Well, I really, really appreciate this time. Hey, for those of you watching in these YouTube streets, please make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, and support this young lady. Support her mission. Support what she's doing. We all have elderly people in our family. We know somebody or have somebody in our family that's suffering with this disease, and we don't always have an understanding. So for me to have this connection, I learned a lot in a very short time. So I can imagine what others will learn once they read your books, once they come to your workshops, and once they get that understanding.
Thank
All right.
you. Go to bossfrog.org. You can check out our websites, find out what we're doing, where we're going to be, different things like that, and support our products. We also do embroidery as well. Embroidery is a portion of the business, because we teach the kids how to boss up. So I teach my nieces and nephews how to make money, how to become an entrepreneur, which is boss is considered my little nephew out of the many that I have. So yeah, so support that in any way. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Absolutely. Nightlife 7-9. Y'all heard it here. Peace.